guys, welcome to our Sunday episode and our weekly forecast video. We're going to give you our technical breakdown and fundamental breakdown of the markets to get you ready for the week ahead. Don't forget to thumbs up, comment and subscribe if you enjoy our breakdown videos. So let's jump straight into Euro against the US dollar daily. We have seen the market gliding up to that resistance level there. It has been gliding up over the last few days. We are still not touching Euro against the US dollar. It does look like it could be at that level now where we could see some sort of daily rejection. You may see some sort of daily traders actually coming at this level to take a short position here and ride down back to the previous range. But again, this all depends on what happens with the Brexit talks. We should know pretty much, well, either today or tomorrow, really, what's going on if there's been some positive news from the meetings throughout this weekend. So yeah, that's Euro against the daily. Not touching it, but if I break down to the small time frames, we just need to be conscious of this level that we're looking at. We could see the market now move higher and break through this, which would be quite exciting to get on with the upwards move. But Euro against the US dollar, we have seen some lovely cluster trades on the 15 minutes aligned with the daily trend. So if you have been trading that, you would see that we did have the upwards trend up here, a large sell-off coming down to S3, rejection of S3, cluster signaled a nice buy off of S3 for a pullback higher there, and we did see another lovely buy here, and followed by another lovely buy on cluster, and again another one, and we look like we are making these higher lows now, starting to move higher, but we have to be cautious of this level up here that we have seen formed on Thursday in the markets, where if we break through that level, we could see this continue to be a bullish move on the euro, which would be nice to see it break out of that range. So again, if you're trading euro dollar, looking at pullbacks to go long on the buy side, careful of that Thursday high. If it breaks through that, looks like we're going to see some bullish momentum to the upside. Really excited to discuss talking about pound against the daily. As we know, I have been saying last week that we were shorting into spikes, and last week I flipped my bias to say we're looking at buys throughout the marketplace on pound against the US dollar, and that was such a great call to see throughout the week. We had some lovely trades here with these higher lows getting formed off of the trend line, and cluster just pulling them out the bag, making traders' life easier there. Cluster 2.0 signaling some lovely entries there on the indicator down here, saying that yep, selling's over, buyers are coming in. Nice little cluster bubble telling us to jump in. Huge move up there, followed by a retracement. More cluster entry signaled here, again coming off of that trend line sort of area. This was great here. It was off of the UK pivot point, which was fantastic. A move high coming up. Then we get rejection the next day off of S1, followed by a cluster entry and also almost the third touch there on the trend line, rallying back up to the highs. And again, we get another touchdown off of S1 and off of the trend line with some sort of smaller signals here from cluster to move higher. So pound against the US dollar looks great for continuation and moving to the upside there. So that's pound against US dollar. Cluster 2.0 absolutely smashing those entries, and again, I think it's probably been one of the busiest indicators that we've seen being getting grabbed up on Black Friday discounts. So we haven't seen anything like it. And I suppose for those that are watching, I'll put a discount code in the description to make sure you use on the checkout, because Sunday is the last day today that you can grab cluster at a discount, and we've got Cyber Monday as well coming up, so we'll probably allow the discount code to go over to Monday. So if you want to grab it, make sure you head over there. It's probably been one of the busiest indicators on our website this month. So I always like to chuck in there US dollar against the Japanese yen previous forecast of what we said that we wanted to see happen, because we have again been spot on again week on week on US dollar against the Japanese yen. Anyone would think that, you know, these guys were watching what we were saying and making it happen in the market. So I said that we were looking for a pullback on the week just gone and a sell-off, and this is what we have seen. So we was here we saw the market move higher up again, and it started to sell back off again. And we said that last time down here that we expected to go up and sell back off again. And that's exactly what we're seeing, and we're seeing this continuation now. So I expect to see the market come down a little bit further before we have a rally back up and then carry on the sell-off. So US dollar yen's been good to us. It's been very easy to predict to the sell side. I'm going to just jump down to the 15 minutes and we'll see a little bit more here. On the left-hand side here was Monday of the week that's just gone. And you can see the vaccine news there that we had come out, shot the market a lot higher there, pushing the market really high. And that was almost the pullback done and dusted in one day on US dollar against the Japanese yen. You can see that it pretty much failed to make higher highs there. And ever since then, it's kind of been, even though the trend was up on the 15 minutes, it's kind of been fizzling out and moving down. And you can see the highs there getting smaller. And then here we get the crossover of the moving averages, and we get our first signal that aligns with our daily time frame, followed by a beautiful cluster signal again to go short. The market stalls a little bit, breaks through that support level, comes back up, and it's not far off that 104 level roughly here, where it then rejected on Friday, carried on its sell-off, and we expect to see that continue moving a little bit higher up and then moving the sell-off down all the way back down to the previous lows, which I think were about 103.3. So we've got like a good, from where we are here at 104, we've got a good 70 to 80 pip drop that we can pick up before we come back down to those lows again. So US dollar yen looking for short positions, pound US dollar looking for long positions, euro US dollar, we're in a buy bias, but we are waiting to see what happens with that resistance level. Again, making that decision of switching on pound dollar from sells to buys last week, was a lot of it was based on Credit Suisse's outlook change, saying that we could see price move back up to 1.35, and we have seen that fundamentals. Once we switched that over, we did see that actually come into play last week, and that's nice to see that, and making sure that we're keeping you guys up to date with what we're doing in the hope that it helps you with your weekly analysis. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Elliot, who's going to discuss a little bit more about what's happened in this week gone, and then also what to expect this coming week.
Cool. Great analysis again, Sam. Thanks for that. Last week we were looking forward to this week, and we sort of said the market was in a bit of a paralysis, waiting for a lot of answers on some significant questions. We have had this week some of those answered, some not answered at all, and some pretty much. Obviously, we had Vaccine Monday. We saw AstraZeneca come out with their results from their latest trial, which obviously was positive for the markets. However, again, it wasn't sustained that we may have seen or may have expected to see. So starting from the top, Trump concession. So I've said we've sort of seen that early in the week. He sort of admitted that he would step down amicably if the Electoral College came out and announced that Biden had won. However, he's still following up with his cases of frauds. Obviously, quite a few of them are in the courts. Sam shared some videos this week on his Instagram with some sort of damning evidence. However, the mainstream media is still sort of, saying he hasn't got any evidence, which is obviously quite interesting. It depends, again, where you're getting your information from. If you're following Trump on Twitter, then you'll think, there's loads of evidence. If you're following the mainstream media, you'll think, what are these unfounded claims all about? They keep saying unfounded claims.
On that note as well,
unfounded.
on the Trump...
unfounded.
Unfounded. On the Trump note as well, is the odds of a Trump victory went up to 29 return on their money. But then after that video came out, it went down to 13 to 1.
Wow.
So I don't know what they're expecting to see, but it is getting rather interesting, that's for sure.
So more Fed stimulus. We haven't seen anything on that. Same with the Washington stimulus, so the sort of CARES Act 2. Seen some pushback on that, and I think because they've still got the Senate race to complete in Georgia, which is going to drag on into January, I think they're sort of moving away their focus from the stimulus bill, so it seems, to that. Obviously, the Democrats, if they can turn over those two seats, that'll push them over into having the Senate as well, which will be a massive win for Democrats. ECB, we've seen a bit of a setback on that with Poland and Hungary vetoing the vote. So, which will obviously inevitably delay the $750 billion COVID relief bill. It's quite an interesting one. I think it's how it's paid back is what they're arguing against. Brexit deal. So we've now seen on Friday Barnier come over to the UK to face-to-face talks, which is obviously positive news. However, I mean, the deal is far from being done and dusted. There's still 3 key elements of the deal that need to be agreed that we'll talk on in the next couple of slides. Obviously, we're talking about the lockdowns, more US states going into lockdown. The UK, Boris Johnson came out and announced that the nationwide lockdown will end on the 2nd of December, which is great news for everyone here. However, the tiered system will be re-implemented with sort of harsher conditions. It looks like we're going to be in tier 2. So, I mean, who the hell? I can't keep up with it.
I can't keep up with it.
It's just
and we
madness.
try to do it on a weekly basis, and I think it's like, the numbers.
Some of the rules I understand, some of them I just think, what, like, it's just crazy.
I mean, if we're under that tier, and it's just, I think it's kind of gone out the window, if I'm honest with you. It's just you can't go out for dinner and you can't go to pubs. That's how I see it.
But that's changing, right? So, and then they're discussing what time last call is on alcohol.
Yeah, it's gone from 10 p.m. to 9 p.m, isn't it? It's like, that
depends on the tier.
Oh,
so if you're in tier 1, I think it's so last call is at 10, but you don't have to leave till 11. Whereas before you had to leave at 10.
Like, what's going on? Is COVID bred in pubs or something? What is going on? I would understand if it was like you can't use public toilets for like past 6 o'clock or something. Like, make more sense. They're filthier than
the most popular. I can't think of the word, but the most popular place you catch COVID is at supermarket.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's the most likely place you'll catch it.
That's why Cardo's done well.
Yeah, so just get it delivered, but then they run out of delivery slots.
So basically just cut supermarket slots down in person and they have to increase deliveries.
Well, it's just because they're letting so many people in now. And obviously, you go to the supermarket, you probably try not to touch stuff. But you inevitably touch something, you're like, actually, I don't want that, or do I want that, or do I want to have a look at that? Do you know what I mean? And then like other people are touching the same thing you're touching, and it's not like they can constantly clean everything. They
need to hand out like bacterial gloves that you have to wear when you walk in. Yeah, exactly, like washing up gloves every time you go in. I mean, then when it opens back up on December the 2nd, you're gonna have like almost like super spreader events, aren't you, at football?
Yeah. Well, 4,000 up to 4,000 fans.
One person has it. 30 are walking out with COVID.
But then I mean, especially in the Premier League, you got 60,000 capacity stadiums, 4,000. They're going to be spread out.
Yeah, they're going to like it's going to be like 1 every 10 seats.
You can't shout, you can't drink, you can't like celebrate a goal.
What are they going to do though? Say there's a goal.
Yeah. Oh, just spat him.
Stop it!
Yeah, exactly.
Sit down, you over there.
I mean, I just
seat number 4, please sit down.
Stop the match.
Stop celebrating, otherwise we will go to a pause. Like, what are they going to do?
Anyway,
well, we need to watch the football fans just be like, hey!
Yeah. But it's just...
Anyway.
So vaccine Monday. So 3 Mondays in a row now, I've had a company come out and announce their results from their vaccine.
It's not
the
long till Monday.
AstraZeneca. So we saw they've actually announced now an additional global trial because their results are being disputed.
No. I think it's because they're saying that they can get better. They're saying. I think they're saying that there's enough. Yeah, they're saying that. Yeah, I can't remember what they said.
What they saying?
I don't know.
They're saying,
we just need to get Raj running down the corridor now with a horse. That's literally what happened. But like the whole thing of where they're saying give a half dose first, aren't they, and then give a full dose.
The result, but that was in younger patients. That trial.
So they've got to do that in an older one now.
But I think that was just saying that, so obviously, it's going to go to frontline staff and the older generation first, right? Yeah. So I think that's why they're doing additional...
I just hope that you guys do not f*** this up, because if so, you're going to bring down the frontliners,
Oh, that's it. But it's their choice, right?
Oh, so okay. Can they opt out?
I was speaking to a nurse and they were saying that I think they were told middle of December is when they're expecting to get the vaccine, the AstraZeneca, Oxford.
And their decision was either don't have a job or take it.
No, well, it's up to them if they take it. I imagine the younger population will probably take their risk of getting COVID, right?
Yeah. Although we did see last week the youngest person to die in the UK is now 10 years old.
Yeah, but they're extreme cases. Yeah. Right? You compare the death rates from under 30 or under 40 even to plus 60. I mean, But anyway, the UK are trying to get the vaccine approved without getting the EU involved, so trying to get that rolled out next month.
Nice.
We're also going to have a look at different charts this week. So we're going to look at FTSE 100, we're going to look at gold,
Nice.
and we're going to look at Bitcoin.
Nice, that's what we like to see.
Some of the
For the crypto fans out there.
yeah, I've had some feedback that we'd like to see different charts
Go for
other
it.
than just the Dow. And yeah, so Thanksgiving this week was on Thursday, which sort of obviously the US market was closed on Thursday. Futures were still open, but it's very, very low trading volumes. So yeah.
Nice.
So starting with the FTSE. So this is on the daily. Obviously I've zoomed out quite a lot, so it might be a bit tricky to see. And annoyingly, the arrow is right over where the chart is. So currently, well, on Friday when we took this image, it was at just below or just above 6,300. We've seen a strong rally over the last, obviously, 10 days to 2 weeks from that 5,500 level. So throughout most of the sort of September, October, we had the key support levels, the red line on there is at 5,800. So that held. We then saw a drop through that level towards the end of October. And then obviously when the vaccine news started to come out, we've seen a really strong performance in FTSE 100, and that's taken us back up towards 6,500. Which you can see on the chart is the previous post-COVID high. So seeing a breakthrough at that level, I'd expect it to move back up towards that 6,800 level. It's pretty clear up to there.
Yeah.
Which would be a nice another 5% move off that high. But however, we've seen a bit of, obviously, look at that strong rally. It's about time we saw a bit of cooling, a bit of sideways movement until it makes its next move, depending on what sort of happens next, which will probably be determined by how effective that vaccine rollout is. Times around that, how many doses the UK will have, and if the sort of bullish momentum, bullish sentiment continues through into the new year, I think we'll see the move back up towards that 6,800 level.
I mean, it's been amazing on the equities market over the last week or two. Talking to a lot of traders from my weekly lessons and community group as well, and they're all smashing it. I think it's very hard at this moment in time to really catch a stock that's doing overly bad on the FTSE at the moment. Again, one of the interesting things to monitor is the actual AIM index, the alternative investment market, is actually printing fresh highs on the year, which is up, and they're obviously the smaller businesses, which you probably wouldn't have expected in after COVID-19. I would have expected the big companies to have been more resilient, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess because a lot of the bigger FTSE 100 companies are your banks, which have obviously been smashed, and the mining companies.
Yeah, and energy as well, right?
Energy, yeah.
Yeah, so...
And then obviously you've got BA.
We've seen some great move on BA. We've seen that,
from where they were previously.
Exactly, yeah. From IAG, we've seen them up 70%.
So
roughly.
yeah, we're still miles away from the previous highs back here at the start of the year, 7,500, and then obviously saw the massive COVID crash that took us almost back down to 4,500.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's making progress. Obviously, we've seen the Dow hit 30,000, which is obviously fresh highs. We've seen the S&P hit fresh highs,
and that's without stimulus and without Trump off of Biden's back as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So I think the FTSE 100 market's looking very attractive at the moment, and it's still at discount, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think we're definitely starting to see, that outperformance we spoke about last week on the FTSE compared to the US is due to sort of global players moving, thinking, okay, right, we're going to get more value here in the UK.
Yeah.
Obviously, you still got Brexit hanging over our heads.
I think the European markets, though, we got hit harder on travel and leisure than America did, and I think that's what they're starting to realise.
Okay, so we're going to now look at gold. So this is gold chart again on the daily, back from sort of October 2019. So just over a year. Obviously, we've seen throughout the start of 2020, the big bull run all the way up to, close to hitting $2,100 per ounce. However, since then, obviously, we've seen a bit of a sideways bearish move, and we had that key support level of around 18.55. That was broken earlier this week, and as expected, key support level, when that was broken, we saw a sharp sell-off all the way straight back down to around the 1800 level. The last day or so, it's actually sort of started to consolidate around that level. So I guess my question, or probably the question that a lot of traders are wondering, will that level hold? Will that $1,800 level hold, or will we see a new break and further lows made on gold.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't have too much to comment on gold. I don't really trade it, but it's been very interesting. The closest I get to gold is watching Aussie gold miners on Sky, and my God, they've been going crazy at the moment because the Aussie price of gold is like really high. So you're getting everyone out there in literally the outback with their metal detectors, and metal detector sales are like all time high because obviously you get gold out there, and it's something like $2,300. For the Aussie dollar and the ounce. So it's like, you know, they're getting every Dick and Harry out there with a metal detector trying to get their gold. But yeah, I don't trade gold too much. You should watch it sometime. Sky, Aussie mine. Oh, mate, they're so funny. Aussie gold guys. There's some of them, mate. One of the guys was out on the outback with his mate, just like me and you, going for a walk. They're gone out in the outback. And they're like, you see that? That's a quartz like uplift out of the land. We're just gonna follow that then on the my thing. How much money in Aussie dollars in one day do you think that they found? And I'm talking just a metal detector going like that with a little pick, and they'll just pull it out of the ground. Like amount of money.
So what ounce is what 2,300?
Yeah.
So 23 grand dollars.
More.
100.
Yeah.
100,000.
100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, in the outback.
So I'm moving away from the mic.
Man, crazy. 100,000 in a day. Two fellas. It's like, what a great day, mate. Like, wow. Mate, this is crazy. No one's been out here, mate. Look at this. They're putting out chunks like this. You're like, what?
Wow.
What? Like, literally like that deep. Like, there we go. And it's like looks like some geezer just planted it there. Yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, give it a watch. It's actually awesome.
Anyway, back to the chart. Yeah. So 1,800, I mean, if this level does hold, then I expect us to see a move back towards that previous support level, which will then, you know, turn into resistance most likely before we see another sort of move higher. But yeah, I mean, it's a mad move down. And obviously one of our traders caught that. We will show on the next Trade of the Week video. And now Bitcoin. So again, another, massive move on Bitcoin here. Again, we've got this on the daily. Tracking back to sort of the start of 2019. So I've zoomed right out so we can sort of see that previous high that was broken. So this previous high here, around 13,300 level, that was broken. Then we saw a massive run all the way up to nearly hitting that previous sort of high level back in, end of 2017?
Yeah.
Near $20,000. However, though, we then saw a big sharp sell-off back towards 17,000. And sort of the last day or so, it's sort of steadied the ship a bit, and now it's sort of hovering around that $17,000 level.
It's
so volatile.
Yeah, so volatile. And same with, like, I feel like Twitter. It's like when it's doing shit, no one talks about it.
I know.
As soon as it starts going, see, I told you. Look at that. Look.
This is where all the retail traders jumped on, probably.
Yeah,
right.
They've got bargains if the predictions that everyone keeps talking about. Right, I mean, it's going to 100k, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Once it breaks 20,000, it's up to 100,000. That's the next stop.
That's what people were saying. It's stupid. They've gone like 4k to 20k. Right.
Yeah, I mean,
then we have a small sell-off, and now it's going to 100k. Like,
yeah. Touched 4,000 back in end of March, right?
It's like, come on. I just think that you just need to play it carefully. You know, this is something that you buy on the dip and you hold for 3 days. You don't hold it for 6 months. You know, intraday trading.
You're doing very well.
Yeah, if you did, but you've got kahunas.
You probably want to take your profits now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Take and get out.
I mean, looking at this, probably. Maybe if it breaks back through this sort of level here, I'd expect it to then test these previous highs again.
Yeah, 14,000 could be in sight before you get a rally up. Yeah, definitely. And it's down 30% on the day or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting chart nonetheless. But yeah, again, not something I tend to intraday trade.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, it's
be interesting. Get in the comments if you're holding Bitcoin or Ethereum, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm obviously exposed to cryptos, but longer term, just holding, not intraday. So, what's upcoming next week? I thought I'd mix it up this week and talk about oil. So, we've got quite a big meeting coming out next week, OPEC Plus. So, that's going to be on Monday and Tuesday. They're going to be looking to discuss delaying the production hike in the oil production. So, going to sort of, obviously, we've seen demand has continued to be slumped for oil. Obviously, you know, we've seen restrictions come back into place in the UK recently, across all of Europe and across the US. So they're looking to delay that production. Obviously, we've seen oil sell off the last couple of days, sort of hoping that it will then delay that production hike to then sort of see a bit of a rally back into that oil price. So interesting one to look out for if you're trading oil, if you're trading CAD pairs, or Aussie dollar pairs. The next one obviously is Brexit deal. So we mentioned earlier in the episode Barnier coming over for face-to-face talks. However, we're still away from that deal. The market is wanting to see that deal rather soon. However, obviously, like we said in the technical part, pound is very bullish at the moment against the US dollar. So I think the hopes are there that deal will get done. However, there's the three main talking points, which are on fisheries, the state aid, and the future dispute resolutions, how that's going to look. So, there's not much time left now, is there?
No.
I mean, we're nearly in December, right? So, again, US stimulus deal out of Washington, it's being delayed. Is the focus moving onto the Georgia runoff Senate seats that the Democrats are hoping that they can turn those over? And if they do, obviously with the VP seat, it'll be 51-50 in Democrats' favour, which will then allow them to do push for a larger stimulus deal in the new year. They're talking around $2 trillion, whereas the Republicans are looking around, saying more about between $500 million and up to $1 trillion. So, interesting one to look out for. Obviously, the markets would like, the more stimulus in their eyes, the better, because the more money that the consumers are getting, the more money they're going to be spending, which is obviously going to push up asset prices. And then, obviously, the other big one in the US is the election fraud hearings are continuing. We saw come out on Friday morning that the Michigan chair has told Trump to prove his case or move on. Very different to the one we saw in the video we talked about in Pennsylvania, which was, those cases. They're madness, aren't they?
Yeah, I
don't know what the explanation is for them, but those spikes in those numbers.
Yeah, and they're saying that usually in history we see gradual increase of ballots. You don't see 300,000 in 90 minutes, of which only 3,000 were for Trump and the rest were for Biden. So it looks dodgy. Whether or not it is or not is going to be hard to prove. But I mean, to the point where there was even laughing when they stated the numbers, it's pretty crazy.
Madness.
Yeah, and I think if they prove it in one area, it's not going to be hard to then open up.
Yeah, because those charts, aren't they, showing the different states and the total cases that came out in those short
all early
times.
morning as well.
Yeah,
Weird.
3-4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so interesting, very interesting still. Obviously, the markets are basically priced in that Trump is going to concede and it's going to be all hunky-dory handover in the White House come January.
Yeah.
Looking at the economic calendar next week, some of the key things we're going to be looking at are manufacturing PMIs. Obviously, then on Friday we have NFP and unemployment out of the US. And we've also got some Fed speeches throughout the week.
Amazing. So thanks for that, Elia. Awesome update there. Lots to keep your eye on in the markets. Again, I'll be looking more at these election fraud hearings as well. I find it very interesting just out for entertainment purposes as well as just to see what actually comes of it. We hope you like the fact that we added in FTSE Gold and Bitcoin. Get in the comments of your thoughts on this weekly forecast video. Don't forget to thumbs up, comment and subscribe. And we've missed out actually in the last couple of weeks on doing a prize giveaway. So this week we're definitely doing a prize giveaway. Click the link in the description below. Make sure you register. We'll announce the winner next week. And we'll be giving away cash and we're going to be doing it through into Christmas as well. And if you are wanting to grab Cluster 2.0 on discount, then make sure that you head to the description below, use the coupon code when you get to the checkout and enjoy some Black Friday discount on a great indicator. Peace out, guys.